Australia has a huge problem with rabbits. Over 200 million of them are running wild, causing massive environmental damage. So, why would China deliberately import 4 million rabbits into one of its deserts? It sounds completely backwards, but it turns out these rabbits were the key to saving a dying ecosystem. Welcome to the Kabuki Desert, one of the largest in China. For years, this desert was a monster, expanding by a staggering 500,000 acres every single year. Entire villages were buried, and precious farmland vanished under relentless, advancing sand dunes. Life here was a constant battle against the sand. Early government efforts to plant trees were a total failure. The saplings simply couldn't survive in the harsh, dry conditions. The desert seemed unstoppable. Then, a visionary engineer named Wang Wenbiao had a radical idea. He discovered a special kind of willow tree, one with roots that could reach an incredible 300 feet deep. These amazing roots could tap into underground water sources, allowing the trees to survive where others had withered and died. The plan was set. Workers built massive square grids out of dry bushes to trap the blowing sand and stabilize the dunes, giving the young willows a fighting chance. Within just 1 year, the impossible started to happen. Patches of green began to appear across the vast yellow wasteland. The willows were surviving, but this led to a new problem. The trees grew too thin and needed to be pruned to develop thick, strong trunks. Pruning millions of trees by hand would have been an astronomical expense, costing more than the entire project itself. The whole effort was at risk of failing again. But Wang Wenbiao found an unlikely, and frankly, genius solution. He turned to nature's perfect pruning machine: the humble desert rabbit. It turned out that rabbits have a very specific diet. They naturally eat only the young, tender branches of the willows. This was the exact kind of pruning the trees needed to grow strong and thick. Suddenly, they had a free, self-replicating workforce. The pruned trees developed valuable, thick trunks, perfect for timber and construction. But the rabbits' contribution didn't stop there. Their waste provided crucial organic fertilizer for the nutrient-poor desert soil. Wheat-in-Mont's lifeless sand began to transform into fertile ground, capable of supporting a diverse range of plant life. As the rabbits moved through the area, seeds would stick to their fur and spread naturally, planting new vegetation without any human effort. Grass began to grow, creating a sustainable ground cover that held the sand in place and prevented erosion. It was a perfect, self-sustaining cycle that required almost no human intervention. And the rabbits were very good at their job. A single female rabbit can produce up to 50 offspring every year. The population exploded, creating a massive army of natural ecosystem engineers. The combination of grassroots and organic matter from the rabbits tripled the soil's ability to capture and hold precious water. The new vegetation even created microclimates that were up to 15 degrees cooler than the bare desert. The results were breathtaking. Over 200 species of plants and animals, long since vanished from the area, began to return to the restored ecosystem. What was once a barren desert was now becoming a massive carbon sink, naturally fighting climate change. The first year's results exceeded all expectations, with over 5,000 acres completely transformed. Seeing this incredible success, the Chinese government decided to go all in, investing $400 million to scale up the project. The scale of the new operation was immense. Bulldozers leveled massive sand dunes to prepare thousands of acres for transformation all at once. A workforce of 10,000 people was mobilized to create the grid systems across a staggering 18,000 square kilometers. The teams planted over 1 million willow trees every single month. And then came the 4 million rabbits, strategically released across the newly greening landscape to work their magic. This environmental miracle quickly became an economic one. Economic zones were built in the restored areas, creating jobs and sustainable development. Over 100,000 local residents, many of whom had been trapped in a cycle of poverty, found employment in the restoration project. The project lifted 100,000 people permanently out of extreme poverty. A thriving, sustainable timber industry developed from the harvested willow wood. And the rabbits, they became a resource too, with rabbit fur and meat industries, creating additional sustainable income streams for local communities. The transformed desert even became an ecotourism destination, attracting thousands of visitors who came to witness the miracle for themselves. A research center was established to study the unique ecosystem, sharing its findings with the world. After just 5 years, an incredibly 33% of the entire Kabuki Desert had been successfully Countries from all over the world began studying and adapting the Kabuki restoration model, hoping to replicate its success. But the fight wasn't over. 2/3 of the desert remained too dry and hostile, even for the resilient willow trees. A new, even more innovative solution was needed. So, engineers combined ecosystem restoration with cutting-edge solar energy technology. Across 6,000 acres of the harshest desert, they installed 5 million solar panels. These panels had an unexpected side effect. They provided shade, reducing ground temperature and water evaporation by a massive 70%. Into cooler, more humid ground beneath the panels, something amazing happened. Grass began to grow spontaneously where nothing had survived before. And who was there to manage this new growth? Our furry friends, the rabbits. They naturally kept the grass trimmed, eliminating the need for expensive mechanical mowing. The solar farm itself is a work of art. Called the Junma plant, it was designed in the shape of a galloping horse, a powerful symbol of progress. This solar farm now generates 2.3 billion kilowatt-hours of clean energy annually. In Octo Power, 200,000 homes in nearby cities. This single project prevents 1.8 million tons of carbon emissions every year. By combining timber sales from the forested areas and energy sales from the solar farm, the entire project became completely self-sustaining and profitable. This solar expansion created another 10,000 new technical jobs for local communities. Training programs were set up to equip local residents with valuable expertise in renewable energy. The innovative solar ecosystem attracted worldwide media coverage and interest. China shared this technology freely, helping other nations in their own battles against desertification. Today, the results speak for themselves. Over 6,000 square kilometers have been completely transformed from barren sand to a thriving ecosystem. Satellite images show one of the greatest environmental transformations in human history. In just 2 decades, the region has gone from a place of extreme poverty and environmental collapse to one of sustainable prosperity. Local families who once struggled just to survive now enjoy a comfortable, sustainable standard of living. These humble rabbits, often seen as pests, proved that nature itself holds the solutions to some of our greatest challenges. Globally, we lose 12 million hectares of land to desertification every single year. That's an area the size of Greece. The Kabuki model provides a proven, adaptable blueprint that any nation can use. Over 40 countries are already exploring similar projects. Pilot programs in Africa and the Middle East have begun using these proven techniques, adapting them to their own unique desert conditions. This story proves that humanity can solve our most daunting environmental crises. When we combine human innovation with the wisdom of nature, each of us can contribute to healing our planet through our actions and our awareness. The Kabuki miracle is a powerful reminder that with vision, determination, and a little help from nature, anything is possible. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as inspiring as I did, please like, subscribe, and share it with others. Let's spread the word that hope for our planet is not lost.